you ready for an awesome session? Woohoo! Marty's going to rock the house today. I'm Lisa with Office Centers and Virtual Office Centers, and we're in one of our 5 locations here in the Metro. So we're at Park Office Center now, but we're going to also welcome everybody from all of our other centers that are going to be viewing this today. I want to encourage everybody, we raise the roof and have a lot of fun around here. So we have free networking events weekly that everybody would be more than welcome to come to. Co-working space in all of our centers, and would love to have you check that out. I have free passes if you'd like to check out any of the other locations. And we also encourage you, if you'd like to stay today, we'd love to have you co-work with us in the co-working space today. So with that awesome celebration of National Co-workers Week, we have a session 2 days in a row where School Marketing, one of our very favorite and valued Virtual Office Center clients, it's Marty McTeague is going to be presenting, and he's going to talk to us. It's another Google workshop on grow your business, AdWords, and the pay-per-click.
Yes.
And you're also going to tell us about some additional bonus points, and that's going to be Facebook advertising and some other tricks of the trade.
Yep.
So with that, welcome. Let's give him a round of applause and welcome Marty.
Like Lisa said, I'm Marty McTeague with School Marketing. So myself and Ben, maybe you've been to some of our other workshops. Ben Tice is the owner of School Marketing. I'm also a part owner and work a lot in our social advertising side of things, as well as web design, SEO, and things like that. So those are some of the areas that we can help your business. Started at Google about 5 years ago, and we were there for about 2 years, helping small businesses here in the Twin Cities learn about all of the free tools and the paid tools as well that you can use to grow your business. So then we ended up starting School Marketing, and we've been at it for about 4 years now, and working hard at helping small businesses like yourself learn about all of the wonderful tools that are out there, and then helping you with websites and things like that as well. So, so these are some of the topics that we are going to discuss today. What is PPC? Setting up your account, so your AdWords accounts, how to create ads, and kind of what goes into that. And we're going to also talk about some social advertising. So we're going to briefly talk about like Instagram and Twitter and things like that. But, we're going to dive a little bit more deep into Facebook because you can do it. And then there will be tips and tricks throughout. We will be sending out this. If you had signed up, we'll be sending out this PowerPoint presentation. So feel free to take notes, because obviously not everything is in there. But like I said, these notes and things will be on the PowerPoint that we send out. To get started, basically looking at your original style of advertising, it was things like putting it in a magazine, an ad in a magazine, or an ad on a billboard, or all over the place, where you're more the person with that magnifying glass looking for clients to reach out to you. Like throwing a dart in there and hoping that it sticks, right? Google AdWords sort of changed that. They gave your consumers the magnifying glass, so that they're going to actually be the ones that are searching for it. And it's a lot more targeted audience, and allows you to really find those consumers that are hopefully looking to buy your products or service. Here are some of the ad formats that AdWords and things like that use. So obviously you have text, you've probably seen those on the Google search. Ad extensions, you'll see images that pop up. Videos are growing part of AdWords that are starting to pop up as well. You've probably seen them on YouTube and all over. Call only and product listings. So if you ever type in a product or anything like that, you'll see those product listings, those are the paid ads. So what is pay-per-click? So this is basically an idea of advertisers don't have to pay to show their ads. You don't have to pay to actually have your ad pop up on Google. Instead, you're going to be paying when they actually click on your link. Sorry about that. So yeah, the nice thing about that is, of course, they are users that are hoping to actually click on your link and learn more about your product or service. So it has a higher probability of them actually paying some sort of amount of money for your products and services. And you get to set a daily budget. This allows you to say, hey, I don't have a lot to spend, but and pop up on Google right in those first areas. And actually, ad spots have actually changed. I don't know if you've noticed that, but the ad spots are now on the top of Google, so you can kind of see up here. Those have always been there, and now they have them on the bottom as well. They no longer do it on the side, and that's because of mobile phones. Because the way that things work, it would just move it to the bottom anyway, so they figured, why not we just focus on that aspect of things. They are also used, this is the same model that's used for different companies as well. So Yahoo and Bing, they use the same or similar model. The setup on the back end might be a little bit differently, but they're going to use the same sort of things. And actually, social media is a huge thing that's started to move into this as well, where they're use the same sort of platform or expanding upon that with their own platform. Your ads are all actually ranked with an algorithm that Google has, and they use what's called a quality score. And basically, this quality score is looking at how your website is for SEO. So if it's set up correctly, like you have good keywords throughout your site, you have good content. If you've been to our SEO classes, that explains kind of the you want in your website. And then they also look at the dollar amount you're spending, of course. Google's made a lot of money off of Google AdWords, and that's a lot because obviously companies have gotten business from it, but they've also competitive landscape at times, depending on what your keywords and focus is. So one thing to note, though, it's kind of a one-way street when it comes to SEO and AdWords. Can help your AdWords, but AdWords is not going to help your SEO. So you're not going to be found better if you just have AdWords.
I would have added some of the things there, but that's like we were running like 6 figures spend on one of our viral ads, and we were targeting a keyword that was Taylor Swift.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, it's like we're running also, but it's a kind of we're getting a huge amount of data. So what we have seen, maybe it's not Google doesn't say, but I'm giving you my perception.
Mm-hmm.
What we have seen is that we were like after spending like 150 grand within a month, we were like top spot for Taylor Swift in entire US. None of the magazines, none of the top, Pop Sugar, TMZ, none of them were like we were on the top.
Sure.
And that's why we saw that somehow AdWords is trying to push more the people who are spending more, and that's why they had a lawsuit in Europe. Okay,
Sure.
so that's one other thing I would add. The more you spend, you're gonna significantly rank higher.
Did you spend $150 per click or per month?
No, for that campaign, we're spending around 7 to 8 grand a day. So month's budget.
Right, the more you spend, the better your results.
Yeah,
absolutely.
because these companies like the TMZ and all, they're organically they're always
Mm-hmm.
like top on the hub like spots, and we never did any SEO for that. We had some other intentions to run that ad. So we started getting a lot of traffic. When you, for Taylor Swift kind of keyword, if you're number one in entire US, we started getting a lot of traffic, and we are like, man, we're getting so much traffic from where? And then we started looking into that.
So I think that, and of course, if you spend a lot, right, and you are in the top spot for a fairly highly searched keyword, like Taylor Swift might be, if people are clicking on your site often, your site could have the ability to move up quickly. I could see that happening, and like I said, I want to move the idea that also you don't have to spend a lot of money.
Yeah.
You can spend a lot less. So you're depending on your keywords. It doesn't have to be like hundreds of thousands of dollars or anything like that.
So when you say depending on your keywords, you mean depending on your industry? Because some industries are just going to be a lot more competitive than others.
Yep.
So to some degree, you don't have an option to spend if you want to be competitive.
Yep. So to some degree, but I will say that it have to go by what they're suggesting, and you can still pop up.
Okay.
So, give a good example. Let's say it's ice dam removal. Ice dam removal here in the Twin Cities is going to be a highly sought after keyword, right, in the Twin Cities. If you go to just Chicago, way less actually, because they have a lot less ice dam properties. So obviously, if your industry is a little bit higher touted here, then you might run into those. You can get around that. Definitely love if you guys have questions about that to talk to you after, and you can really find specific keywords that give you the best ROI for your business. So if you're a smaller business, maybe you don't want to focus on ice dam removal in Minneapolis. Maybe you want to focus on ice dam removal in Golden Valley or something like that. And so you can really cater to a lot of different areas.
Do you have any stats on currently the difference between how many people click on the ads versus just the regular organic searching?
I don't have those stats offhand.
I can help you speak on that one real quick. I do search engine optimization as well, so we do a lot of studies. I work with roommates sometimes, but 10% of searchers click on ads, and of that 10%, they actually get split between the 4 ad spots at the top of the page, which gives you like 2.5% total click. Where the number 1 organic position gives you between 35 and 40% of the total search clicks, and it trails off from there. So 35 to 40% of the clicks to your first organic position.
First organic.
Down as you move down the position. So like number 2 would be anywhere from 25 to 35 and so on as you move down.
I would like to add here something which is very important. So like these stats are very generalized. We have so much in AdWords that the keyword, the intentions behind the keyword,
Right.
it makes a lot of sense. Like we were running like the water removal. People don't want to go outside to buy on shops. That's super big. I have a friend who get like 200, 300 grand on that stuff. They're so embarrassed, they just want to go online and buy that stuff.
Right.
And if you're running in the embarrassing niche, you click your ad. So they need solution. It's not a player, it's a paid solution. And when you are running like a cars.com, insurance and all that stuff, to go around, check stuff with that.
Yeah.
So it's all about the intention. The more buyer intentions keywords are, the more focused demographics it is, you're gonna get a good click-through rate. That's how it works.
So moving on, looking at creating an account. So when you're creating an account, there are kind of really 2 different ways you can look at it. You have the search network only, which is going to display just the text ads on Google. Basically, they just show up on Google.com. Search network and display select. They mean they show up on the Google results and also have the ability to show up on. So this is like The second version is going to be the best option for the optimals, but a lot of people still just focus on the search network only because it's easier to manage just one area. You can also select if you want to focus on mobile devices versus a desktop. This is key, especially because you recommend creating ads that are separate for the devices that you're going on. The reason being is to look a little different for mobile users, and you might that are focused on the mobile user. Give an example that you could, use something through your website on your phone, and like cars.com, maybe finding the app. That's what you would. So, location. This is going to be huge and critical. You need to make sure that you're setting up the location settings, because if you don't set up these, it's going to just expand to the whole world. So then you're going against everyone. You want to get the best ROI by setting it to your local market. Granted, I know that some of us have businesses that everyone can use. I would focus on some smaller niche markets that you are either into or already have a little bit of success, and you want to start to get into neighboring cities or something like that. And then you also set a daily budget. So the budget, you can basically just multiply it by 30 and you'll get what you want for your monthly budget, if that's how you want to do it. And the budget, once you get to that budget, and so you don't have to worry about them spending more than just your. Organizing your account. So I'll just kind of explain some of these things. Might be hard to read. So campaigns are a set of ad groups that share a budget, location targeting. The ad groups are a set of keywords and bids you manage together in order to show ads to people likely to be interested in them. A single ad that is attached to an ad group, the message, and then keywords are the targeted search terms that your ads are trying to find. Diagram over here kind of gives a good layout. So you have your account that's overarching. You can have multiple campaigns running at the same time. You're going to have ad groups, ads, and keywords. So a good example here. Let's say you were your campaign you might have a campaign for tables and for beds. Might focus on coffee tables, bedside tables. You would do sofa beds and king size beds. Giving you an example, that's kind of how the layout works. This is a really helpful thing to look at also afterwards. So when you jump in there, you're not like, wow, this is crazy. So now creating an ad. Title, the first box, is going to be actually 25 characters. So if you want to write this down, that might be good. If you're trying to create these ads before you get in there, it's a good thing then to just jump in and then you're trying to create it on the fly, because then you can come up with the best ad. Your description, which is the second box down, you're going to have two separate lines for description, and they are both 35 characters. So this one is maxed at 35 characters. And is down here. That is also maxed at 35 characters. You want to make sure to capitalize the main words. This is important because studies have been done that capitalized words actually are going to give you a better. People look at them and they click on them, and they perform a lot better than if you just have a sentence written like I don't know, sentence. And with subs, ads, things like that, those are optional to capitalize, but if you do, it's fine. You want to focus on adding keywords into your ads, even though you only have the 70 characters between the two. You really want to make sure that those are on there.
This is just an old slide.
Yep, it's just an open slide. Yep. Yeah. Then your display URL, that is actually not the URL they're clicking necessarily. It's not like the URL they're going to go to, but you can make it a keyword. So the example, if we were to do one for Google website or Google Workshops, we might do schoolmarketing.com Google Workshops. That might not be the URL on our website, but it has keywords attached to it, and it looks nice to click as well. And then you'll see final URL versus destination URL. You want to make sure that when you're creating ads that you're actually using the final URL. This is kind of a Google is upgrading their system, and everything's starting to move towards final URL anyway.
I mean, just to add here, they have a tracking template system for final destination, and your display doesn't match, it's okay, but you have to use the tracking template. So let's say you have a tracker somewhere and you want first that URL to hit, so you can get the stats, and then this destination URL. So they have something called tracking template, and it's okay. But in this case, they will not allow it in general to have a different URLs.
I have a quick question for you.
Yep.
Normally, when you do your AdWords campaign, are you sending traffic to like a homepage on a website or to a landing page?
It kind of depends on the client. A lot of times we'll do a landing page because then we can track it better on Google Analytics and things like that. And we might be running multiple campaigns to try to figure out which is working the best. So there's that. But also we have some clients that we just focus on specific services or something like that to a specific page because you want to focus on the service that you're working on or providing. So yeah, moving on, keywords. Cost is going to be designated at your keyword and by competition. So we kind of talked about that. If it's a highly competitive area, it's going to show up as, hey, this is going to cost more. Here's what your average is and things like that. Have as many keywords as you want, but I would recommend limiting it at 50. That's kind of the max that I would do. I would do less than that. Negative keywords are essentially something that if someone's typing in, let's say you're a cruise ship or something like that, to be popping up under Tom Cruise, right? And so you're going to use negative keywords to delete Tom from that option. If you have,
Maybe similarly to that, to tangentially, like worst cruise ship. Like people are like want to find out like, oh, where do I not want to?
sure.
You don't want to come up with the first, purple cruise, the very top. So, isn't there a place to like eliminate negative?
Yeah. So that's kind of the same idea.
Okay.
You would.
But worse, bad, awful.
Yeah.
Targeting, so you're never gonna show.
You're probably not going to be targeting those.
Yeah.
Yeah.
What do you mean?
The
Why are you
keywords.
gonna target a worst keyword so that you never have an ad there? So it doesn't matter even the way it's searching.
Yeah, but you'd be amazed at how many companies I see.
No,
like,
that's an organic ranking. I'm saying.
no,
that-
I'm seeing a paid ad when I do a search for like cruise ship,
So
and they're like paid ad #1 right there.
Those are the people, I have seen people doing that, they take 1,000 keywords and they dump it. you know.
Yeah.
And, or they have an agency that's not.
Although some people are interested in showing up in those spots because of the fact that they could potentially show up and be that person's like, and then they see these advertisements and click on those instead because they might want to. They might be like, I had a terrible experience with Carnival or something, and then these other names pop up.
I just think the average consumer doesn't know about the behind the scenes AdWords. So if you Google something like that and you're the first one to pop up, the first thing in their mind is you're the worst.
You're terrible. Yeah.
Yeah.
Sometimes the headlines are very different, like, you know,
Right.
like 10 worst cruise ships to avoid, and
Right.
this and 11 are like, we are the good ones. That's one. Second is competition. You are targeting someone else company for the bad thing. People do that. This is bad competition.
Okay, I see. Yeah.
I mean, I've actually picked up a client who they're rolling out these new local pack ads. I don't know if you've seen those yet, but or he was showing up for his paid advertisement. He's a plumber for a plastic surgeon. Right, because the keyword is plastic, like
So like PPC and yeah.
So you see, if someone searches plastic surgeon, plastic surgeon. That doesn't
Not
make
relevant.
any sense.
Yeah.
And he was throwing a lot of money away at that. 'Cause that's a high cost per click.
How many? Yeah, it's
Popular
huge.
search too.
Yeah.
So he just totally wrong industry.
Yeah.
So a big thing with so one of the areas we do is we'll actually manage your AdWords campaigns, of course, and it doesn't happen like that. You're gonna have to work at it, and usually we say like the first month is like, this is where we're learning about what is gonna work for your company and your website and things like that. So you're gonna have to work at it, change your ads and things like that. And so it does take time, but once.
What do you think is the average? Like, is it 3 months, 6 months to get like a good?
About 2 to 3 months. Once you get it to the right spot, you should be good to go. Obviously, if you're like changing your focus or anything like that, that could change. But for the most part, we're making sure that nothing is falling through the cracks. But we kind of set it up in a proper way. You're still going to have to log in and make some changes and things, but it's not going to be as drastic as the beginning. This is a nice chart to have as well. This will be sent out, but it gives you kind of so figuring out like, all right, what kind of keywords you are using, and it really just explains the different types of keywords and what you might want to focus on. So we won't go through all of those separately, but I highly recommend going back to this and looking through it. AdWords Express is another tool to use. So AdWords Express is kind of your slimmed down version of AdWords. Optimization. It's only going to be things that are popping up on Google Maps, essentially. And so if you're a local business and you're really like a smaller, don't have a huge budget, but you don't have a lot of time to deal with the big project of AdWords, this is a great tool to use because you set it up and just let it ride, essentially. Obviously, you can come back and make changes and things like that, but yeah, you are actually paying not only for clicks, but also just being promoted though. So it's not actually the same exact thing as people.
Where do they promote you?
On Google Maps, like the local listings, yeah. Yep.
What's the cost comparison to pay-per-click?
No, you set your budget, so it's going to give you in a very similar way, give you sort of a budget based on your keywords and things like that.
Oh, so you can still use keywords?
Yep.
Okay.
Yep. All right, so now I wanted to dive into social advertising as well, because this is a hugely growing thing. I would say that 2 or 3 years ago, social advertising was something that wasn't even really known about or thought about as a tool to grow your business. But it's expanded incredibly, and almost every platform now has social advertising. So, for example, like in the last year, Twitter basically came out with theirs and revamped it. So, so we'll dive in deeper to Facebook, because Facebook gives you kind of the most aggressive abilities. You're able to do a lot with Facebook, with targeting and things like that. Twitter and Instagram. Twitter is more like you focus on your ad, you maybe have a couple demographics, and then you let it ride. Instagram is kind of an interesting one, because on the phone side of things, it's very much like Twitter, where it's a little bit more basic, but you can actually attach it to your Facebook ads as well, because Facebook owns Instagram. So diving into Facebook ads. So the big question often is, what are all of these terms? What is promote versus boost versus, whatever? Promote is essentially when you are looking to focus to have someone do something that you're focused on. So promoting a page, you're going to focus on getting likes with that. Promoting your website, you're going to focus on them going to a specific link on the website. You can promote your local business. This is a new thing. If you set up your Google or your Facebook as a local business, a small business, they allow you to do this. Basically, that's more. It's more basic, and there's not as much stuff you can do with it. I would focus on some of the other ones. And then promote your button. I don't know if you've noticed on your Facebook page, you might have seen that they now have create a button, and maybe you've already created it, but you can do things like contact us, learn more. You can do like download the app, like things like that. It's all over the place, and so you can start to focus on that stuff. And then boost is going to be focusing on your actual post. So if you have, this is where you kind of, if you have an event or something like that, that you are really hoping a lot of people show up to, right? You can pay money to have more people see that, because any given post organically is limited by Facebook. The stats, I believe, are 5 to 10% of your likes have the ability to actually see a post, and then that changes, of course.
Say that again?
5 to 10% of your likes. So say you have 1,000 likes, something like that. Given post organically is only seen by about 5 to 10% of your likes. It's not all of them.
Facebook has become big.
Wait a minute, so if I post something and I've got 10 likes.
Yep.
Or 100 likes.
Yep.
All 100 of those people have seen that post. So how are you saying
Not
that?
necessarily.
Not necessarily.
When you
If they
post,
liked it, they saw it.
Right?
no.
Oh, they like your page.
Page. Yeah.
You
They
have-
like your page, not your post.
Yeah.
You
Page.
have
Sorry.
1,000 fans, and you post something.
I was thinking likes, not the page, I was thinking the post.
Yeah.
Yeah, so less people will see, so you get less exposure, less posts, and that's how Facebook will push you to go for ads.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah. Sorry. If they of the page likes,
Okay.
only 5 to 10% of your organic
Unless you do
posts.
boost.
Unless you boost, or if they like it, or if they go to your page often, that can change it. If they comment, if they share, all of those things change it. But if it's straight organic and there's no likes or anything, that's the main focus. Granted, there are caveats where it's like if you have a really good, 2-sentence line that has some keywords that people are looking for, there's a chance that it could reach a lot more people.
But it's kind of like on a sliding scale, because with Facebook, like it's all virality. So let's say that you post something and I share it and I got 3,000 friends and they start seeing it, you'll get more natural
Right.
views on it. And as a post becomes popular, they're going to give you more organic views than if you're paying.
But last week, you know, last week Facebook rolled a new update,
Yeah,
and
They're getting
now
rid of
now this viral stuff and free organic
Mhm.
is gonna cut down a lot.
Well, clickbait titles.
Yeah.
yeah, get rid of it.
So they are using the term clickbait. If you see the latest conference by the the CEO, whoever it was, he was trying to portray that Facebook is the only good platform. Others are not able to do. Still, Google is like 2 times that. But still, what I'm trying to say, they use the word clickbait. But what they're trying to cut is that all the big companies are trying to get free traffic. All the viral sites and then fan page with 3 million fans. They're just pushing everyone to use ads.
Mhm.
That's their underlying motive. That's what you can say.
And that was a big change that happened in Facebook when they went public. Things changed, and they needed to make money, of course, and so ads are a great way. But boosting posts does work. It does. You can really focus on like if you have a new product or something like that coming out. You can really, if you boost that post, a lot of people will see it, and if they're interested in it, which we'll talk about in a second, how you can target those people. You can really get a good number of people to click on that link and go to your website with the hopes of your website then doing the job from there. So
Can you explain that again really quickly? So boosting is actually the focus of promoting a post.
Yep.
And promoting is then the focus is what you actually want people to do.
yeah, so boosting is only the post, right? That's the only term they use for boosting a post and advertising your post. Everything else is promote.
Everything else.
Yeah.
Okay.
And studies that say that boosting posts is what you should focus on versus promoting your page or something like that. I have an opposite idea of that because I feel like if you grow your page likes as well, the organic reach then grows as well. So you want to do a little bit of both. So I wouldn't say like only do one or the other, but I would say that promoting your page and growing that is going to help.
So how is promoting your page? How do you promote your page?
So
Like you pay and then
you
it
pay
shows
the,
up as like the suggested. Like for
Yeah,
me personally, it would be one of the suggested posts,
Sure.
and then I go there and I like the page.
Sure.
They
It'll,
paid
it'll
to
be an
promote
ad
that.
that has a
It'll
great
be an
button. Just
Okay.
but the ads are now like pretty hidden. If you scroll through your, it's especially on your phone, it's pretty hidden as to if it's actually an ad or not. So obviously it still says advertisement and or promoted, but yeah, those are going to be focused on. It'll have something that you create a little. It's like 140 characters or something like that. I can't remember offhand. And that's all you really get. You get an image or a video that you can put there, and then it says like our page. So
That limit is like only when you're doing the edit. If you go to the ad editor, we can get it more.
yeah.
So would like native ads be considered promoting posts?
Yeah. So what do you mean?
Like
On Facebook? Or?
Yeah.
Facebook needs to be as a native
that is
one.
a native ad.
It
Yes.
is native.
Yeah.
Okay.
So Facebook ads setup, if you look at it, essentially when you go in to promote something, it gives you a lot of different options to find out demographics and things like that. At the beginning, you're going to actually create the ad. So you're going to come up with the message. You're going to attach an image or a video. The key thing here with images, Facebook doesn't like when you have a lot of text in your images. So you want it to be very much a like brand image or something like that. We're not going to be hurt if we have school marketing listed there or if you have your logo there or something like that. But if it's, you're trying to explain your whole, services on this image. Facebook used to not even allow you. Now they just tell you, hey, if you run this, it's probably not going to work very well. So, then you have demographics. So you can choose genders. So you can do both, or you can do just females or males. Age, you can do an age range, and that range goes up to 65 plus. I really tell people to not do a giant range. Focus on your target market, because a lot of times people will just skip this part. It's an important part, because you don't want 18-year-olds that aren't going to be doing your service or product to be looking at it. You'd rather have maybe your 25 to 55. So I would even venture to say that if you cap it earlier than 65, that I'd recommend, because your range on Facebook is not going to be as high. There's not as many 65 plus year olds.
Although that is the largest growing target market on Facebook.
No,
Because of grandkids.
I run all my ads beyond 40. There's a lot of.
And all the other markets
what
are
he's saying-
saturated, so that is the fastest growing market right
What
now.
he's saying is, it's like a nail point, because the more broader you go, the more less clicks you get, the more less click
Oh,
through rate.
absolutely.
Yeah.
But don't ignore them is what I'm saying.
Definitely,
No,
definitely.
right.
No, yeah.
I'm for example, I spend a lot of money, 65 plus,
Yep.
promoting diabetes offer, and all that stuff. That works really good.
Targeting it, focusing
Yeah.
it is going to be really important, because obviously the wider the range, it's like, you're shooting a shotgun into the air and hoping that it hits.
One other thing I want to add here, what Facebook do very intelligently is like on target. It's not like that you see that somebody will come in and say, hey, you have wrong target. What Facebook do, even score, because it's a broad and little CTR, and your CPC will go skyrocket. Get it out, like by that time you lost a lot of money, because you're like, what's going on? Maybe it's a competitive market, but it's not. So idea is that you should have a very good relevant score.
Mm-hmm. And they give you that score with it.
Yeah.
So when you're looking at that, so cost per click is also what he's saying. Yeah, and then you can focus on interests. Interest is going to be it's based on how people really fill out their social media as well. So if they have, it'll look at things they've liked, activities they've done, all these different things, and that's kind of how they figure out interests. But you really can get into a lot of different areas, and I would limit. I wouldn't do a ton of them. Same kind of idea as limiting the age range, to limit this as well, because you can do multiple ads. That's fine, and you can change what those keywords are to figure out, all right, what's working best for me. And by changing these, you'll also find that it'll make your scores better, and you'll have more clicks and likes or whatever you're hoping for. And then budget and duration. So you can obviously pay through credit card and things like that. You can set it up in there. When you're promoting, you have a daily budget. So if you're looking at it, and this is where people actually spend a lot more money than they were expecting to spend, they'll set this budget thinking, all right, I'm going to spend $50 for this campaign. But if they are doing promote, that is per day, you're spending $50. And so just be wary of this, because if you end up saying, all right, I'm going to do this for a week or 2 weeks, you're going to be spending $50 for a week or 2 weeks per day. So realize that if you're not hoping to do that, right, that's where you can do. If you notice it early enough, you can go in and set up a campaign or things like that. Or if it's working, you can add more money later. So, and then you can also expand how long the duration of the actual ad is going for. I usually focus on just a few days if I'm going to be doing promote. And then boost you can do over a longer period of time, and that is based on the total budget. So if you say, hey, I have $100 to spend post, I'm going to boost it, and you just put in $100 and you select how long you want to do it, it'll only use $100 in that time. And it'll actually calculate out, all right, this is how much you're spending per day, and things like that too. So
I don't know if this is true or not. Maybe you guys can help speak in on it, but I've heard or read with people that Facebook kind of has a system trying to place your ads to the right people as well, like beyond behind the scenes. So I heard that if you do a low budget campaign, let's just say $5 a day, and you kind of build on that slowly, it gives the Facebook algorithm behind the scenes some time to actually figure out who you're trying to go after. So what their goal is that if you spend $5 and they give you good results, then you'll spend $10 and so on.
Right.
So they're trying to help you out as well. And that's why I've been advised, and I'm not sure this is true necessarily, so maybe you guys can pitch in, but I'm not sure it's true, but never start an ad campaign with like $30, $40, $50+ a day right away, because it gives them time to figure out what you want and then scale.
Yep.
That's actually true. Like, I don't know, on different channels, native, Google, Facebook, whatever, most of the places, this is actually true. So what we do, we put like $100,000 budget, and we're not gonna spend that. We put that, but we put daily budget, let's say a day. So I put a daily limit, but the overall budget I put so high that the algorithm thinks that he's a big spender. And most of the ad hunters works on auction mathematical model. So it's like you're never gonna pay more than 1 cent anybody else, But Facebook, after spending so much, the case is very different. Yes, Facebook has all the data, and they know who is like doing what, who is liking, this celebrity, who is buying stuff. But idea is that Facebook, you should run one campaign and test your ad, CTR, and all that stuff. When you find the winning combinations, you should put a different campaign, because that's how Facebook is pretty. We are seeing like going from $50 to budget of $5,000. Man, they started jacking up the prices. CPC. You're not gonna believe it. We started duplicating the ads. Like one ad with $50 budget, and we started running 100 of them. Okay, and each of them was giving good ROI instead of Facebook has a very different scenario. I don't know. After their IPOs and all, man, they gone crazy. They just need your money. And every time their quarterly reports comes, you must agree with me, their CPC go like blast. I've seen people like, man, what's happening? It's 2 times. CPC gone 2 times. Because their reports are coming. So I believe this here, good budget, you should run a different campaign for scaling.
I do think that when we normally do budgets, we do focus on smaller budgets and do multiple ones throughout the month, and that's what I would recommend. And you can spend. The nice thing is you can spend as little as $5 and still get some reward. Especially if you're early on, you can start to grow that your page. You can start to boost it to a group of people and an industry that you sell one thing and you make a lot of money. That one click could be that one thing. So so having a small budget there to make that happen, especially early on, to try to build that is fine. And I'd highly recommend it, especially because you kind of have to now with ways of trying to promote the fact that, hey, I have posts, you should come to my page more. And actually, promoting, if you're boosting posts and things like that, you'll actually get some likes on your page as well. You'll get a lot more traffic on your website as well if you're linking to it. So kind of a review, we talked about the pay-per-click system, some of the account structure and writing ads, so what goes into that. as well as key things, the quality score and SEO and correlation. And then social advertising. And do you have any other questions for me, right?
Is this an AdWords Express what you're talking about? So like that regular paid ad, there's like.
That's called local ad.
No.
That's your local,
So-
that's free.
AdWords Express is nothing. It's just what Google did. They, like, you can go and tell them, this is our business model, this is our acquisition, this is what we need. You pay it to higher than the normal AdWords, but they will take all the pain on them.
Easier.
Oh.
Okay?
It's a lot easier.
And when you go by
How
yourself,
is the map?
The map is based off what's called the Google My Business profile. So your business needs to have a physical address of the local area. And then so let's say I'm a plumber in Minneapolis. When I have a Google My Business that's verified, it'll rank me in the local pack when someone searches for a plumber in Minneapolis, if I'm ranking. Now, there's a whole different number of ranking signals to rank locally than it is to rank organically. There's technically 3 sections of the search results page: ads, local, and organic.
Yep.
And they each require different things to get higher placement.
Okay.
I think that I just saw yesterday or somewhere that in the local pack they started putting ads.
Yeah, and that's where I found my plumber ranking for a plastic surgeon.
And the other thing too, clarified, Google My Business is Google Plus or Google Local Listings. So if you set it up a long time ago, that's what it's called or what it used to be. So if you're looking for, the name has changed probably 8 times in the last 2 years.
And now
So
they just changed it again to not have descriptions, and now you have category tags.
Yeah.
Which is,
everything's changing. So if you're looking for an old password or something for your Google My Business page, you're not going to find it under Google My Business, probably Google Plus or Google Local Listing or.
a lot of times, if you have your Gmail account, you can log into Gmail. The top right corner of the google.com are made of 4 little squares inside of it. Click on that, hit show more. Typically, if you don't use Google My Business, put the very bottom of this, so hit show more, go all the way down, you'll see it.
One of the things that we did, it's a hack. I think he can help you with those kind of stuff. You're not able to run that by yourself. His agency can be helpful for you guys. Now, this is like going and doing stuff to like leverage the system. So Facebook, you're gonna agree with me, Facebook has a system where you can train the Facebook. Like they have a code or pixel, okay? Let's say every time you have a sale, that code will fire up. You're gonna put that. And after some point in time, you can train the Facebook that find the only people who buy the stuff, and that's phenomenal. What we did, they're not designed it for Facebook likes and shares and all that stuff. We started throwing that, firing that pixel as soon as, we are getting things working, not for like likes, but other stuff than sales. And what's happening, Facebook suddenly started finding me all the good people who do the same stuff, made this a sign up and all. So these guys can, help you with that whole technical setup, and that's really phenomenal. That's why I like in Google and Facebook, you can do both same. You can train them after like 25 sales, I believe. They will start training their own algorithm. They'll start finding new buyers. You don't have to worry about targeting.
So that's it. Like I said, if you have any additional questions or want to get a free consultation, we are offering free consultations for any of our services. So if you're wondering, hey, what am I doing with my AdWords? We can pull it up together and take a look at it with you, as well as we can do a consultation on your website and SEO or social media, whatever you're looking for. Feel free to contact us about that. I'll be here for a little bit after, so if you have additional questions, feel free to ask me.
Good, thank you. And like I mentioned, if anybody wants to take a tour and have a free cup of Starbucks, would love to show you around here. Have you join us at any of our upcoming events. And we do have free lunch here tomorrow too. Probably 2 days in a row, maybe 3.
Tomorrow.
Yes.
Is it a big Italian thing?
No, this is going to be sandwiches.